After the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, the A73 was the phone everybody was looking forward to. A73's launch was rather cold, and a good part of the world still doesn't know about this phone. But it's here now, and today I'm going to share my experience of using the Samsung Galaxy A73 with all of you. Those of you watching my channel for the very first time, please subscribe, press the bell icon, and if you find this video good at some point, like this video too. The like target for this video is just 2000 likes. Alright, I would like to talk about the display of this phone first. Samsung has made some improvements in the display department this year. The front of this phone looks modern and improved. The very first change that you will notice is the trimmed down bezels and that small chin at the bottom. Punch hole is quite big and looks a bit odd. This is the 6.7 inches Super AMOLED Plus display peaking at about 800 nits of brightness, but the display in real looks brighter compared to other phones with the same level of brightness nits. It's an HDR10 supported screen, which means you will get a good media consumption experience. Its performance outdoor in broad daylight is also good. This is a 120Hz panel, another improvement over the 90Hz panel of its predecessor. Everything looks so smooth and fluid on the screen. Underneath the display is a fingerprint reader of this phone. It just works like all other fingerprint scanners on mid-range Samsung phones. I was hoping for better haptic feedback this time, but its haptic feedback sucks. Like the Galaxy A72, Samsung has built this phone entirely out of plastic body and plastic frame. The frame is not rounded anymore, it's rather flat and it has a nice grip this time. A73 is slightly slimmer compared to the A72, and Samsung has massively cut down on the weight of this phone. Apart from being slim, it's also lightweight. It doesn't look too different from the A72. However, there's a very minor detail around the camera that helps it differentiate. And by the way, I got this phone in the white color because every other YouTuber was getting this phone in the mint color, and I really wanted to see how the white color looked. I am quite impressed by this white color. It has a slight matte finish at its back and it doesn't easily pick up smudges. The phone lacks a headphone jack but retains the microSD card slot. A dual stereo speaker setup is there which works just fine, not too loud and not too low either. In terms of software, Samsung is shipping this phone with Samsung One UI 4.1 Android 12. Now this is the typical Samsung One UI but with a slight twist. Samsung A73 qualifies for 4 years of Android and 5 years of security updates. Furthermore, Samsung has added the object eraser feature to the photo editor of this phone. This feature is limited to the new Galaxy A lineup and the S series phones as of now. Rest of the software features are the same as other Samsung Galaxy smartphones. I got the Galaxy A73 with 128GB of storage and 8GB of RAM. I was also hoping for better storage standard this year, but against my expectations, Samsung has once again used the UFS 2.1 or 2.2, so you are definitely going to feel the pain while copying files to and from this phone. The storage benchmark score of this phone is on your screen. To power up the processes, Samsung has used the Snapdragon 778G chipset with Adreno 642L GPU on this phone. A lot of users were initially skeptical about this chipset, but this was acceptable to me. I have used the Galaxy A52s 5G with the Snapdragon 778G and I always found the performance quite impressive. Same is the case with the Galaxy A73. I think the Snapdragon 778G is a sweet spot for a phone like this. Its benchmark scores, as you can see on the screen, are quite impressive. It can easily run most of the games at 60 frames per second. You get high frame rate options for most of the games. And the best part is the heat management. This phone doesn't easily heat up and I think the Snapdragon 778G plays a role here. I have conducted multiple speed tests of this phone on the channel. You guys can definitely check those out. And let's head towards the cameras now. Samsung has used its own HM6 108 megapixels camera sensor at this phone's back, and rest of its camera details are on the screen. There is no telephoto lens this year. The front hosts a 32 megapixel Sony IMX616 sensor. Camera app has got all the usual bells and whistles, and it's still far away from a flagship camera app. For example, this camera app still doesn't have RAW format for the Pro mode photos. There is no portrait video mode, no director's view, and no motion detection button for the super slow-mo mode. It's about time Samsung starts bringing such features to its premium mid-range devices. Camera of this phone works fine in its normal mode. It's just not very good at handling those highlights, especially the high-res mode where it fully blows off highlights. Otherwise, you get nice images, especially the portraits come out great. You must be thinking of that 108 megapixels mode if it can make up for that telephoto lens. Let me clear this confusion too. The 108 megapixels mode can never replace a telephoto lens. You won't get the same result by cropping into a 108 megapixels photo that you would get from a real telephoto lens. So yeah, the telephoto lens is a big miss for the Galaxy A73. Samsung also needs to work on the stabilization of the 1080p at 60 frames per second and the 4K videos. The video stabilization at the moment is horrible. You find its stabilization fine as long as you are looking at this phone's video all alone. But the moment you compare it to a phone like the Galaxy A52s 5G, you end up realizing that the A73 has got horrible video stabilization, and this needs to be fixed. Overall, the cameras of the Galaxy A73 are just fine for now, but it would be cool once Samsung fixes all these issues, and I do hope that they will fix these soon enough. Now this phone has got a big 5000 mAh battery, and to talk about the battery life, I have already conducted a full battery drain test of this phone where I put a lot of stress on it. The phone lasted for about 7 hours and 13 minutes in my very brutal battery drain test. The screen on time for a phone having this huge screen real estate and 120Hz refresh rate is pretty good. It also means you can easily keep this phone up for a day and a half on normal usage, and its screen on time should easily hit 9 hours plus. It supports 25 watt fast charging, but there is no charger in the box, so you got to shed some extra money out of your pocket for that. And with this we reach the conclusion. I'll be straightforward about the Galaxy A73. It lacks a headphone jack, it doesn't bring a charger out of the box, and it doesn't have a telephoto camera. For all these reasons, this phone is not a value for money product. But the good stuff includes its new improved screen, which looks absolutely gorgeous and has got 120Hz refresh rate too, a really good processor to keep things smooth, and 4 years of Android update lifecycle. This phone gets my recommendation, but only if you can live with the fact that you are not getting the best value for the money you spent. The ball is in your court now, and I would love to hear you out. The comment section is there for all of you. If you found this review useful, hit the like button and subscribe too. I will sign off and see you all in the next one.